Today we visited the Pirate Takeover event at Alton Towers during February half term, and we left after just 2 hours.
We're going to CBeebies Land. We're going to CBeebies Land.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Exciting.
You happy?
You happy? Yes.
Yeah. This isn't my usual super positive Disney-style vlog, but I will always share honest experiences, especially as a neurodiverse family, and UK theme parks really need to do better with accessibility right now. We bought these tickets in advance at a reduced rate, which honestly felt perfect for us. We usually only visit CBeebies Land and occasionally Mutiny Bay for the aquarium, but normally we still have to pay full park price, which never feels great when you know that you're not actually going to use most of the park. This Pirate Takeover event only had those areas open, so we thought this would finally be ideal for our family. Or so we thought. Before we arrived, we had drama trying to book parking, especially express parking, because my son struggles with long walks. Every time we tried to add it online, it was all greyed out. The live chatbots told us that every single car park space was fully booked during half term, which felt really unlikely. We also tried several times to ring through and speak to somebody in person, but nobody seems to answer their phones. And eventually we got through to a human on live chat who explained everyone could park in the blue badge car park area, and it was included in the ticket price, which was amazing news. But why wasn't this clearer? That's normally around £18. And this is a huge selling point. I feel like they're really missing a trick with this. We arrived for opening, parked easily, brilliant. And then the weather absolutely betrayed us. It was torrential rain. Now, we had waterproofs. We came prepared. It's February. It's the UK. We had spare clothes. We had even more spare clothes on top of that. It still wasn't enough.
Well, we've just arrived, and as you can see, it is absolutely down. But we're going to make it as fun as we can. So come for us for a very wet day at Alton Towers.
I downloaded the Ride Access Pass app beforehand because my children struggle with queues. For anyone who doesn't know, Merlin Entertainments caused quite a stir last week. They initially trialled their new Ride Access Pass for guests who are visibly disabled only, excluding neurodiverse families like ours. After media coverage and complaints, they then did a big U-turn and opened it back up. And just to be really clear, visually disabled guests absolutely have every right to this support too. That's not what I'm saying. Accessibility should never be a competition. It should be inclusive to all guests who need it, as Merlin claim they do. So I arrived feeling a little sceptical, but I really wanted to go in open-minded because my son loves CBeebies Land, like really loves it. Entry into the park was smooth. The staff were really friendly. We went through security and that was perfect. And then there were fun pirate decorations dotted around the main street that you go down. Plus an octopus had taken over Frog Fountain Lake, which was a really cute touch.
Your host. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire at will!
When we entered CBeebies Land, it was really exciting to see the track for the new Bluey ride. We are big Bluey fans in this household, and you can clearly see the Healer House from the entrance. Now, after going through Mr. Tumble's sensory garden, surprise, surprise, Grandpa Tumble was still asleep. Seriously, someone needs to wake that guy up. We waited under the big tent, sheltering from the rain, for Hey Dougie show, which was the 10:30, the first show of the day. Now, we'd got there with plenty of time. We'd scoped out a nice space, but yet adults stood right in front of the kids. Now, I understand the ground was too wet to sit, But the little ones further back were really at quite a disadvantage. We actually moved to the side so that Reese could get a really good view of Dougie, but there were a lot of children that weren't able to find a spot because of that. Now, the show itself was the same as usual, but a really nice touch, Dougie was in a pirate outfit, which I thought was really fun. Now, by this point, we'd been in the park less than an hour and we were soaked to the skin and quite overwhelmed. So we headed to the sensory room, which has previously been a great haven for my kids when we've been at the park. But it was full. They were restricting numbers on the door, which I am all for. Like, keep the numbers down, keep it a little bit tranquil, that's fine. And luckily, as we approached, someone else was leaving. But it was clear that lots of people were just using it to shelter from the rain. Now, don't get me wrong, I know not all disabilities are visible, but it was quite clear from conversations that we overheard that people were just using it as a soft play for their kids so that they didn't get wet. That's a real shame for children who genuinely need it and were struggling to either access it or were inside visibly distressed. Also, Alton Towers, I'm going to call you out here. Make this make sense. The volume directly outside the sensory room is insanely loud. Why is the quiet space next to blaring music? If you have a child that's coming in that's dysregulated, they don't need another layer of stimulation before they get into the sensory room. Equally, if someone's just come out and have just spent time regulating themselves, that could be the trigger that then overstimulates them again. Just turn it down. Now, I really wanted to try out the Ride Access Pass app. We had now been approved after the U-turn that Merlin did, but we could not get a Wi-Fi signal anywhere. Now, no rides were showing. Nothing had loaded. I was wondering whether I just hadn't set it up correctly. I wasn't sure what was happening. Now, we decided to chance it and go in the night garden queue to ask a member of staff. And luckily, whilst we were in there, we realised that it was loading up the rides. We were able to select in the night garden and it was asking us to scan. Now, it wasn't till we got to the end of the queue that we realised we had to walk back through the queue because there is a QR code at the entrance. So a note for yourself, if you are looking to use this pass, make sure you check in and scan the QR code before you enter the queue. Now, the ride itself gave us a few minutes of calm, a bit of shelter from the rain. It is the same ride, it always is, but it works for us. It's one that my children enjoy. My sister was inside the shop next door, checking out the merch. There was a decent selection, but similar pricing to Amazon. So definitely price check if you're budgeting. And my daughter made a really good point that there isn't a lot of merchandise there for pocket money. It's value items. So if your children are looking to spend a little bit of pocket money, that might not be the shop for them. Now, we couldn't leave without the Furchester Hotel experience. And can I just shout out to the actor that was working there on Sunday, the 15th of Feb. He was working hard to build rapport with a really tough crowd, and fair play to him. As always, my son enjoyed the show. Now, by this point, we had hit our limit. A limit with the rain, a limit with the guests' behaviour, a limit with knowing that the sensory room wasn't able to be our backup to regulate. So we decided to exit. We waved goodbye to the healers on our way back through the big tent and decided to head home. On another day and in better weather, my son would have absolutely loved the Dougie playground. And just being in CBeebies Land, it is a really special place for little ones. However, with the rain, a few of the rides weren't working, understandably. Those that were, such as Peter Rabbit's Bunny Hop, people were being pelted with rain as they were being dropped up and down, which I'm not sure is an added element to the ride that you particularly want. Now, I do want to say there were positives today. The reduced ticket price made this event much more accessible for families like ours who only use certain areas of the park. The staff we spoke to were all kind and helpful. One on the In the Night Garden queue actually offered the additional tip to a guest in front of us that whilst you normally can only have a maximum of 4 guests that can ride with the person, so 3 additional guests to the person that has the ride access pass, on the In the Night Garden ride in particular, you are actually allowed to have 6. I think that's because you have the whole boat to yourself. The new Bluey ride looks like it will be a brilliant addition and a much needed refresh to the Postman Pat section that was there before, RIP Pat. CBeebies Land has so much potential to be an amazing day out for neurodiverse families and obviously toddlers. But with some investment and better systems, Merlin could genuinely become a leader in accessibility in the UK. It's a no-brainer. I just don't understand, particularly with Universal hot on their heels, with a new theme park coming, why are they not making these changes now and making them for the right reasons? Right now, I just feel like there is a lot of work to do. We've ended up having a cosy car park picnic instead of paying £10 for a hot dog. Yes, really, I've seen other people's vlogs, and honestly, sometimes those unexpected moments end up being the ones that the kids remember the most, and man, did we need to sit in a dry and warm environment today. I always aim to share honest reviews, the good and the not so good, because families deserve realistic expectations when planning days out. We have also had really great days at CBeebies Land, but actually sometimes when you take those rose tinted glasses off, there is a lot that can be done to improve accessibility. I feel like there are a lot of creators out there or neurodiverse families that are more than willing to give their advice if Merlin are open to listening, myself included. And yeah, if you visited Pirate Takeover, I generally love to hear your experience in the comments. Did you have a better day than we did? I really hope you did. Did you explore any of the pirate activities that were happening in Mutiny Bay? We never got that far. I don't know if they even went ahead because of the rain. What are your thoughts on the accessibility in the Merlin parks? I would love to know if you pop down in the comments. And please don't forget to subscribe for more honest, neurodiverse family travel vlogs. Got a lot of really exciting day trips planned in the next few months, so please subscribe and keep watching. Thank you. Bye bye.